Yeah.
I got a secret.
Let's hear it.
I lost it. I forgot what I was going to say.
What is this, amateur hour?
I think so. Let's start the show.
Think of it yet? Go ahead.
No, I fucking forgot.
Rookie.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell Dan the secret. And then as soon as I started talking to the mic, I was like, fuck, I lost it. But I don't want, yep.
What is it? Wednesday, Tuesday? It's only Tuesday. Come on, man.
I know, but I'm mind fucked from work. Let's fuck it. Move on. Let's start the show.
Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
I remember now. Took my wife and my kids for a walk as soon as we get home from work. We basically do it all the time when it's nice weather out.
Mm-hmm.
And we were walking, and my daughter can spot a fucking plane in the sky like it's none other. And she's like, "Ooh, jet, plane." And she saw these two, and they're like right next to each other. And then I was like a little kid for some reason, because when I looked up and I saw it, you could see the plane turn like it was a full, flat out giant curve. I know it's like, oh, wow, you're getting excited because you saw a plane fucking turn. I've never seen a plane in sky turn as much as it did. I've only seen planes just going straight, like, oh, yeah, it's cool.
It was like a straight up U-turn.
Huh?
It was like a straight up U-turn.
Yeah, dude. He was like going straight and then
Must have forgot somebody.
And then we looked back up, and that same plane that was turning like that, another plane was coming right at it. And my wife and I was looking like, oh, are we about to fucking see a plane crash? I was like, shit, it's about to fucking happen. And of course not, it didn't. But I was like, shit.
I don't even think that there's an airport over there near you.
There's one in Kalamazoo. But they were headed northwest.
Well, heck yeah, man. That's not the direction that we're heading tonight.
No, we're
heading south.
South.
Yeah. Got another guest from Georgia. I'm excited, man. He's a bow guy.
I thought I knew a lot about bows. Like I grew up with bows and stuff like that. Watching this guy's YouTube shit, I mean, TikTok and videos he posted, I basically was like, I don't know the first fucking thing about a bow, basically. I was like, shit, I'm going back to school.
Oh, well, I haven't had that confidence really yet. I'm still figuring out the damn thing, but I know I love it. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to Scott. He seems like he's got the dream job, man, for sure.
Oh, he does.
Just tinkering on bows all day. That sounds pretty damn fun.
Dude,
yeah, man.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah, let's get him in here and pick his brain.
How
you doing, Scott?
How we doing, guys?
Good.
I was just holding it down here in Michigan.
I hear you. Y'all can keep y'all's weather. Lord have mercy. I don't want no part of that.
Actually, wasn't too bad today. It was pretty nice. I'm sure it wasn't Georgia weather, but can't complain.
Yeah. It's 55 and I'm rocking a hoodie. It's a little chilly. I need to step it up a little bit. I need my 200% humidity back.
Shit, 55. You're seeing people in Michigan walk around in banana hammocks and a cutoff t-shirt.
Yeah,
nah, here we're still drinking hot coffee. Lord have mercy. How we doing now, fellas?
Oh, we're doing.
Getting ready to have a nice chat about hunting down in Georgia.
Oh, you're gonna be disappointed. We're I tell people all the time when they ask me where I'm from, I say I'm from Georgia, where the deer are small and the ducks are few, but we try really hard.
I don't know, man. Everybody else that we've talked to, they've painted a different picture.
Mm-hmm.
They've been telling us that Georgia's a great place to shoot a big monster.
Well, see, I need their names and phone numbers so I can tell them to shut up, so we don't have too many out-of-state hunters moving. God dang, guys, Lord have mercy. Jeez. Nah, Georgia's got some decent deer here and there. I mean, depending on what part of the state you're in, I mean, we're obviously just like any other state, split up between our northern and southern zone. Not as far as laws and regulations and stuff, but as far as the quality of deer. I mean, obviously, the more food you got, the bigger the deer you got, and the better, healthier herd. North Georgia, we got nothing but cattle and chicken houses, and there's a few row croppers, but not like South Georgia, where the average row crop farmer's 1,000 acres plus. It's a whole different ball game. But I mean, biggest thing that kills us is our tag system. We're allowed 12 deer on one license. I don't know if y'all know that or not.
Yeah, we found that out last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems a little high for does for sure.
Yeah, I gotta love the insurance company flipping the bills for the DNR. I said it.
Yeah.
Then we also found out though, our guest last night was Jeremy. It's a year-round tag. So you could, if you bought a tag basically at the end of September, you can come back the next year and hunt that first part of September again on that same tag.
Yeah, it's a year-round license. So, for example, if I bought my license the 2 days before the season ends, then it's going to wrap around till then. But I mean, I don't know who wants to wait till the end of deer season to hunt. That seems a little ignorant.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure. But I mean,
unless you're just getting into it, halfway through the season, you're like, hey, I want to hunt, then that makes sense. But I don't know anybody that does that. I thought you were going to say like year round, like you get to hunt deer year round, which is not the case. I was going to tell you, Jeremy's not going to be part of the industry very long if he's doing that.
No. It's just I haven't heard of any other state that did it like that. That it was good for like a full year, not just the calendar year.
Yeah.
But
yep.
No, I haven't done any out of state hunting yet. Not really.
Well, depending on where you go, you're going to be excited or disappointed or both. I mean, I've hunted a couple other states, and I tell you, growing up hunting Georgia my whole life. See, back in the day, you didn't get to hunt over bait in the northern zone of Georgia. See, it used to be we were split up between northern and southern zone, different laws, different regulations. Our southern zone could hunt over bait, but us in northern zone, we had to hope one walked in front of us. And up until I want to say about 8 years ago, they were trying to get the laws switched, and that was too aggravating. So the redneck ingenuity kicked in, and they took the line, which was somewhere around middle Macon, Georgia, and moved it all the way to the top of North Georgia, and made us all the southern zone. Which I mean, it worked, but it seemed like going around your ass to get to your elbow, pretty much. I don't know why they did that, but now we're all on the same page.
Wow, man, that's.
How long has it been that way with the tags?
Since I can remember.
Oh, damn. Well, It still seems like, I mean, if there's still deer to hunt, that's a good thing. I'm glad that, that the population isn't scarce because of that.
Yeah, our population definitely isn't scarce, but it could be better. I've always praised Kentucky for their tag system. I like it a lot. So we get 2 bucks and 10 does. 1 buck is supposed to be 8 points and outside the ears. Nobody enforces that. Nobody. But I've always praised Kentucky's tag system because when you buy your license there, you get a buck and a doe tag, and that's for the whole year. Now, you shoot your buck, you're done with bucks. You don't get any more. You shoot your doe, you can buy unlimited doe tags for $20 a pop, or it used to be that way. They probably went up a little bit more. I wish we would go to a very similar tag system, because I agree. We got a pile of does. We're not running out. I usually hit one every 2 or 3 years. But I mean, I usually shoot anywhere from 3 to 5 does with my bow a year, because I eat deer meat year round. You ask anybody that does my TikTok lives, towards the end, I'm usually cooking up a roast or something of my live, getting ready for dinner. Because cows are just too damn expensive to eat anymore.
Yeah.
It's so gross to eat fucking cat, man. I can't do it. Like, let me take this back. So when I was in the police academy, okay, my drill instructor, he basically showed the entire class a photo of beef, and you could see like the meat, and basically everything on his house was just fucking fat. And then he showed a rabbit, and it was basically all lean meat and like no fat. I was like, I'm eating that, and that's what I've been eating. And I was like 21 at the time when I went to the academy, so I was eating like a steak maybe once a week or something like that. I barely even eat a steak now, because to me that's just gross as shit.
I still think beef is fucking tasty, but I mean, I enjoy it. It's more satisfying knowing that I killed that fucking deer and, I'm eating a good lean protein and, that I'm the one who brought that food home. So, but I mean, I don't really hate on beef too much except for
Yeah.
the price, like what you're saying. It's outrageous.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, there's good and bad quality meat, even though it's the same cut. I mean, it just depends on where you get it from. If you go to Walmart, you're probably not getting it. Well, no, I take that back. You are not getting a good cut of meat. Ingles and Kroger and them's a little bit better, but if you got a local butcher shop, you're not going to beat it. I mean, and for example, it's not a butcher shop, but we actually got an Amish store that's ran by one of our county commissioners. And I mean, he gets steaks brought in from, I think, the Amish in Kentucky or something like that, and they are phenomenal. They're lean. They got a little bit of fat on the edge. I mean, it's just, I mean, yeah, you're looking at, $12, $13 a slab, but it's better than a cardiac arrest from eating junk.
Yeah, for sure.
Real quick, because we kind of jumped into that. Hey, Scott, can you give a little background of who you are so people, the listeners, like, oh, who we talking to tonight?
Oh, yeah. By the way, guys. So my name is Scot Evans. My family and I own Feathers and Antlers Outdoors in Commerce, Georgia. We're an archery pro shop. We sell a lot of name brand apparel such as Sitka, Badlands, a lot of name brand fishing gear as well, Shimano, Daiwa. Pretty much everything you need for the hunter and fisherman except boomsticks. We are in a Tanger Outlet Center, and they kind of frown upon that. Which, if they knew how deadly some of my crossbows were, they probably frown upon that too. But let me back up. I'm on TikTok, known as Botox77. I got an Instagram that's Bowboy as well. Most people are gonna probably know me from TikTok. That's where pretty much a lot of our business comes from, and that's where the base of my following is. That's where I upload all my arrow builds, all my bow tuning, and that's where I go live from twice a week, sometimes on Bows and Brews.
Heck yeah.
How long have you been doing that now for?
I'm coming up on 1 year. I think actually April. Yeah, I think April will be about a year since I started TikTok.
And you said TikTok's your main focus. How many followers you got now on?
We're about to break 100,000.
Nice.
Oh wow! And in just a year's span, wow, that's amazing.
It's done very well for me.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing the archery shop? It's a family business?
It's me, my old man, my sister, and my madre. I obviously handle all the archery stuff and a lot of the purchasing for new brand items just because I kind of keep up with what all the cool kids want to wear. My dad does all the BSing in line, and I love it. Big Mama Evans and Little Mama Evans, my sister, they handle all the purchasing and financing and all the other stuff that me and Daddy don't want to do. And when I say Big Mama Evans, I don't mean she's 400 pounds. I mean, when she steps in the room, she's somebody to reckon with.
She makes her presence known.
Yeah, she's a little bit nuts. She walks in the room, you can be like, I bet that girl can mess up some cheese grits and biscuits. And you're exactly right.
That's awesome.
Well, I did notice though, because I bring this up because I went and ordered my bow last Saturday. I noticed your review about the lift, and it was weird how I was watching that video. I was like, man, he's describing the same fucking thing that I was thinking and feeling when I was shot my bow. And I just want to hear your impressions about the lift, because I ended up going with the 33. I didn't go with the 29.5.
So honestly, here's the deal. I'm not a Matthews dealer. I'm not a Hoyt dealer. A lot of people think I hate those two brands because I don't sell them, which those people are extremely ignorant because they probably don't even know my last name and they don't know what I like and what I don't like. And that's fine. I love it. It keeps me warm at night. But I'll be perfectly honest with you. My review of that bow was, if anything, very nice. I was extremely sweet and tender to that bow because, in all honesty, I think that bow sucks. And I'll tell you exactly why. Now, keep in mind, this, for anybody listening, this is the lift 29.5. I did not get to shoot the 33. I truly think I would like the 33 better because I like big boy bows. I like 34-inch axle to axle bows, longer axle to axle bows. That's my biscuits and gravy. But I tell you two things that Matthews went after, and they nailed both of them. They went after speed, and they went after a lighter bow. Well, common sense says the more mass an object has, the more it can absorb vibration. Well, what creates vibration? More speed and kinetic energy. Well, they went after a sub 4-pound bow. They got it by just a hair, like not even enough to talk about. They went with a somebody can correct me in the comments or whatever on the brace height, but I want to say it was like a 6 1/4 brace height. But basically, it was a speed bow. It's IBO and over 345 or something like that. That the bow doesn't really get with a realistic hunting arrow. So with that being said, the bow's lighter, producing more kinetic energy. What's that create? That creates hand shock. What's Matthews known for not having? Hand shock. So this is what's happening right now, and you can go on Facebook Marketplace and call me a liar if you want to. There's a whole lot of people that bought that bow sight unseen because Matthews finally, even the Matthews guys were like, they finally did something new. I can't wait. Well, kind of, sort of. What they did is revamp the cross-centric cam, which is a great cam system. It works phenomenal, but they really didn't do a whole lot with it, if we're being honest. They did create a new mod system, which kind of sucks for all the dealers that have had that cam for the past 5-6 years and collected all those mods. Well, now they're useless. So now they got to switch to a whole new mod system as well. So I'll be honest with you, I was extremely disappointed in that bow because the amount of rave it was getting, I immediately knew that it was getting that rave from people who hadn't shot the bow, or they only sold that bow, or had only ever shot Matthews, so they don't know no better. So the reason why I was so gentle on that Matthews bow is because it was my first Matthews review, and no offense to either one of you guys if you shoot Matthews, but you guys are like pitchers in baseball, biggest crybabies if somebody doesn't say what you want to hear. And I get that, and I praise Matthews for being able to establish such a strong following. It's honestly impressive. I mean, their marketing team has absolutely destroyed every single other marketing team in the archery industry, period, probably since the early 2000s. I mean, Matthews came out I think they came out not long after I was born, like 93, 92, something like that.
Yeah.
But they've done a great job. Now, people are going to disagree with me. That's fine. But I literally just gave the facts of what was produced. And once again, you can go to look at all the archery used equipment. Matthews lift, Matthews lift, Matthews lift, Matthews lift, Matthews lift. $900, $1,000.
Right. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. But anyways, I was a lot more gentle with that review than I know I said I wasn't going to give the bow anything it deserved, but I was trying to act unbiased, because if I had just dogged that bow, then everybody would be like, oh, he's just a hater. Oh, no, not really. It's just this is a bad year for me to do a review on a Matthews. Give me a Phase 4. That bow is great. Mm-hmm. Phase 4, V3, V3X. Loved all those. I didn't like the Tri-X because I like shooting, adult bows, long axle-to-axle bows. A bow that's meant to shoot a lot. Very forgiving. So.
And then what brands do you guys tend to sell a lot of at your shop?
So we carry 4 brands right now. We carry Prime. We carry Darton. I don't carry APA. That's I'm doing some marketing stuff for them. Cool bow though. And I also carry Bowtech, and those are going to be our 3 main sellers. We do carry a little bit of Bear Archery, but we kind of keep that more or less for the youth. And some of the mid-price range bows, starter package bows, they're really good for those guys.
To kind of go back on the lift right there, the one thing that I liked how light it was. It was just basically dead in my hand. But then, like you said, you get that resistance kind of in the feeling after you shoot it. And I noticed though, when I was drawing it back, and I shot a Matthews Verdicts, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a fucking crybaby. Okay, let's just fucking throw that right now. Okay.
Yes, he is. Yes,
I'm just a little bit of a
crybaby. I saw him raise
crybaby.
his hand. I'm like, we about to be friends, or we're gonna be enemies.
No, but I agree with you though on it, because I was like, man, they really wanted speed and the lightweight part of it, and they nailed it both. I just didn't like the
hand shot.
Well, that, but it's just as soon as you start drawing back on it, it just kind of felt stiff. I didn't want to. It still feels somewhat smooth, but you can just kind of feel like a resistant type of it. And then as soon as you got closer to that back wall, it kind of wanted to fight you a little bit, and like you really kind of had to almost really give it an extra little tug to really sink in and lock in into that back wall to
Like a
finish
hump?
it out.
Yep. And that's exactly what I said in that video. And the more so the feedback I was getting from people who had shot the bow said the buildup is at the beginning. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It's a short brace height bow. I'm used to that.
Yeah.
And the more I shot the bow, at first I said, yeah, there is a little bit build up in the end, but the more I shot it, the more it's like, it's like it's 3/4 way through the draw cycle. It's like you hit a wall and then it wants to roll over. It's not really a dump off, but it's like, it's like that annoying speed bump in front of your kid's school. It's like, it has a purpose,
Right.
but you wish it wasn't there. And the more I shot it, I'm like, this sucks. I said, because the phase 4, the V3, V3X, all those bows had a smooth, constant draw cycle. And that's what I'm used to shooting with my prime, is a smooth, constant draw cycle. The way I describe that bow is what you start with is what you end with. There's really not that big of a buildup. There's definitely not a hump or a dump off. Is it a speed bow? No, but I promise you, the arrow's not going to bounce off the deer. I guarantee it. Yeah, so I don't know. I think, I can't say that Matthew's crapped the bed because everybody's buying it, but everybody that's buying it hasn't shot the bow. Or I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people. I knew of shops that had 40 plus bows pre-ordered sight unseen.
Wow.
And not just one shop. I've got several friends that own shops, and they said it's absolutely crazy. They said people are paying their 50% non-refundable deposit or paying 100% non-refundable up front, even though they're not going to get it till. Guys that ordered the bow back in, whenever it launched, it was November, I think.
Yeah.
They're just getting them this week. I know one guy or two guys actually that ordered it on launch day, and their bow, they just got confirmation that the bow is shipping today.
Dang.
Like, that sucks.
Have you shot the
why people pre-order something they haven't even shot? And don't get me wrong, I think because I was like, ooh, the lift, I got so excited about it. The next day on Sunday, I was thinking to myself, all right, I'm glad I didn't put anything down on this, because now I'm looking back on it, I might want to go back and try the phase 4 because
for $900 right now.
Exactly. So I was thinking back, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I might go back and tell them, hold off on that order. Because I'm waiting on is just the string combination to come in. They have everything there at the shop. But yeah, I'm thinking of kind of calling them back, and just because I've been thinking about it since Sunday till now, I'm just like, you know what? Thinking back on it now, I just got caught up in it. And looking back on it, I was like, you know what? I might want to try the phase 4, and because I like my Matthews Vertex, it just was heavy for me, and I wanted something lighter, and I got caught up into that with the lift of just how light it fucking was.
Well, here's another thing. I'm sorry, keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just saying, I got so caught up in how light it was, and I just said, fuck, I don't give two shits about what this feels like. I just like the lightness of it.
Yep.
But I want to go back and just kind of like, know what? I want the whole thing. And I think the phase 4 is, because I shot that and I really love the phase 4.
So let me tell you what you're going to run into with that lightness. That lightness is made to sell you a bow in the shop. It's not made to necessarily make you like it out in the field. Because here's what's going to happen. You're gonna deck it out. You're gonna put your standard stabilizers on. Do you run a front and back bar or just a front?
This year I'm running front and back, 12 in front, 10 in back.
Okay, and what, 3 ounces of weight on both, 2 up front, three or 4 in the back, something like that. Nothing crazy. Yep. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. Out past 40 yards, you're gonna hate it, because here's what's happening. If, for example, you take a baseball, put it in your right hand. You move your right hand pretty good, right? You take a cinder block, put it in your left hand. Well, now you can't move it nearly as good. Mass is going to help stabilize the human body. For example, you take a Ruger 1022 free-handed, it's all over the place. You take a 270 with a bull barrel, it's a whole lot more stable. Exact same concept with the bow. And I'll give you a perfect example right here hanging up behind me. So this is the APA Black Mamba Pro. I've only had this bow maybe 2 weeks. They sent it to me to do some demos on. This is a super light bow. This one's right at about 4 pounds, maybe 4.2. It's a short axle. Not my cup of tea, but free bow to do marketing with, I'll take it. What I had to do with this bow in particular, I run dual stabilizers on my setup, but I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stacks on the back of this bow, and I'm running 2 up front. For me to shoot accurately, like I can with that bow, my prime at 60 yards, with a quarter of the weight, that's what I had to do because this bow is so light. It's so unstable. I shouldn't say unstable, but it's not what I'm used to it. But now, with that being said, if you're not going to shoot that far, it's no big deal. Now, I'm not saying you should take an ethical shot. Well, a real good ethical shot at that distance. But if you want to tinker and play at longer distance, you want more mass. Not so much to where you drop your shoulder and you're all over the place. You got to kind of build up to it. But that's why you see target archers using such long stabilizers, so much weight. It's the exact same thing. It's just amplified because obviously they have to be as consistent and hold it steady as possible at every distance.
That's a good point. I never really thought of it that way.
So another great example. You ever been to a go to Bass Pro Shop? Ever gone to their boat section? It's inside, right?
Yeah.
Air conditioned, feels great. Good day to buy a bow or good day to buy a boat. Well, you get that boat out in the water. Shit, it's hot. God, it's cold. I don't know if I want a boat anymore.
Oh, you were so smart down there in Georgia.
Oh, yeah. You'd be surprised what you learn working in retail for 9 years, homie.
Well, what about that Bowtech Core SS? What do you think of that bow? I watched a lot of videos on that, and that bow seemed really nice.
It is nice. I think they shit the bed on it and should have spilled off the SS34 from last year. And I'll be honest with you, I actually like the SR better than the Core SS, which made no sense to me because the Core SS stands for, or the SS in Core stands for super smooth, just like the SS34 from the year before. Only difference is they shortened the axle to axle, shortened the brace height, and said this is super smooth. Well, guess what makes it both super smooth? Longer axle to axle and a longer brace height. So it's like, come on, guys. You can't put a turd in a wrapper and put Hershey's on it and expect everybody to eat it. Come on, let's be smart. Yeah. I mean, but I'll be honest with you. For some reason, the specs are obviously a little different between the SR because the SR is actually their quote unquote speed bow. I felt like the draw cycle was more consistent. But if you want a buttery smooth, just a freaking X pounding bow, that Bowtech SS34, that was my biggest mistake, is not ordering more of these this year. I didn't think it was going to be as big of a hit as the Core series. I was wrong. And also another thing, and and this is how you know I'm not biased. So I'm a Bowtech dealer. Bowtech was my #1 selling bow last year. I flat out told some of the guys at Bowtech, I said, because I told them, I said, I don't know how I'm going to do with y'all's brand this year. I said, it's not from lack of trying. I said, between the Dart and the Bowtech and the Prime, the Bowtech's almost always the first one out when I'm letting customers try bows. And they said, well, why do you think that is? I said, well, you took a platform that you won like smoothest draw cycle of the year and didn't do anything with it, and decided to revamp it with a whole new bow line. And on top of that, you literally copied the #1 bow manufacturer in the world with the center mass sight, and then you put refuse to follow on the limbs. That's like
a contradiction.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Bowtech, but come on, guys, help me out here. And on top of that, they alienated themselves to just their site. I don't know if y'all know it or not. Pure Archery Group is what owns Bowtech. They also own Black Gold. I don't know if they own Stand or if they just rep them. But that is another one of the major lines they work for. But they made that center mass only work for the Black Gold site. Guess what site is not popular in the Southeast compared to Spot Hog, HHA, and UltraView? Black Gold.
Yep.
So if I can't tell you how many guys I've had come in like, man.
Yeah, that's kind of a deal breaker.
Can I put that Spot Hog on there? I'm like, if you want to avoid a warranty and give me a CNC machine, yeah, we can make it work. But they're like, well, I like the spot hog a little bit better. I was like, I don't blame you. Which I don't have a problem with black gold. It's just don't limit yourself. I mean, you can't try to make yourself the only brand.
And then, what's the prime bows that you guys are selling the most?
RVX 34. This exact one I shoot right here. So, Prime. Are either one of y'all familiar with Prime?
No, not really.
A little bit.
Oh, you sinners. Okay, we're gonna get you right with Jesus. All right. So, Prime. Are you familiar with G5 broadheads?
Unfortunately,
I just familiar with
yes.
the brand. Never shot them.
Okay, so
don't ever buy G5.
Don't ever buy G5. Not a fan. Which one did you shoot?
The Monex, I think.
The Montec.
Yeah.
Well, I'll send you a pack of good broadheads. How about that?
Yeah, I have Magnus broadheads, so.
Okay, so you're shooting.
He's drinking the Magnus Kool-Aid really hard.
Fuck off, Dan.
Did you get sprinkled with some fairy dust? Is that what happened? Ranch fairy?
No, I just love my Magnus, man. No, I just had bad experience with those broadheads, man.
I'll gladly try another brand, but so far what I've been hunting with my first 2 seasons, Tooth of the Arrow. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. So you guys are both fixed head guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all elk hunting?
Never been.
Not yet.
Sheep hunting?
Not yet.
Never been.
So why are you using fixed heads?
That's just the first one that I've.
It's power. It's beautiful.
Power. I mean, I know you shoot a Matthews, but I promise an expandable will open on impact.
No, it fixed broadheads, man. Are the best broadheads.
Tell me what you think. So
tell me what you like. This guy is a mechanical broadhead type guy, and he just never opened his eyes to fixed blade broadheads.
Yeah, no, you're right. I just sell them. So here we go. You ready for this?
Yep.
Let's hear it.
So obviously, like I said, use what you want, use what you're comfortable with, but also make it easy on yourself. So what do you think is going to pour more blood, a slither or a hole?
A hole.
Okay. How many blades is the Magnus you're using?
4.
4 blades. Okay, so you're making a hole. How many blades is the 4? Okay, so you're both making a hole. So how much tuning do you have to do to that fixed head to get it to fly like your field tip? How much extra time does it take?
For me, I haven't had any.
No issues? Cool. Okay.
Nope.
Maybe 5 minutes.
Maybe 5 minutes? Well, that's not bad. That's not bad whatsoever. So here's the ordeal. What's the cutting diameter on your Magnus, Brett?
Shit, I don't fucking remember.
1 1/8?
I think I have 1.5 inches.
I think it would be close to 1.5 inches.
I want to say 1.5 inches.
Or 1.3 inches.
Okay. It might even be more. The first year I got the smaller ones, but this past season I used the XLs, which I believe might have had a little bit of a larger.
Those are 150 grains, ain't they?
100 grain is what I used.
Oh, okay. Because I had this a while back ago. I done got Brett wondering. Oh Lord, he's getting worried over there.
It's pissing me off because I can't remember right now.
Oh Lord, it's okay.
So the G5 is what you like, then?
Stinger broadheads. That's what I shoot.
You shoot the Stinger, you said?
Yeah, the Magnus Stingers.
Magnus Stingers. Okay, what's the cutting diameter? Do you see it?
Yeah, where's that? With the serrated edges. Let's see. Where is it at?
And Magnus is a very phenomenal broadhead. I'm definitely not taking anything away from that head, but I'll get to the point here in a second.
Where does it say? Losing it. Oh, it's a 2-blade. Oh, whatever. I'd say 4.
Oh, I was gonna say I didn't know Magnus had a 4-blade other than their turkey broadhead, but you know what? I've been wrong before, so you're making a slither.
I know Tooth of the Arrow.
I'm not seeing where it says it.
Yeah, it is
1 1/8, maybe. I don't know.
Yep. So that's what I'm guessing. Somewhere in that ballpark. So here's the deal with particularly the G5 Mega Meat. Now, Brett, I'm gonna use you as an example. You don't like G5 because you had a bad experience with one of their broadheads, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If your truck breaks down, are you just gonna walk to work every day, or are you gonna just buy another truck?
Buy another truck.
Yep. So why not give a different broadhead from that same line the opportunity? Now, with that being said, we're guys, we get pissed at a brand and we never touch it again. I get that. Been there, done that. I mean, there's certain gas stations I won't even go to anymore, except Buc-ee's. Love that place. But what I'm getting at is on the G5 Mega Meat, it's almost unlike any other blade, or any other broadhead, I should say. And I'm not sponsored. I'm not paid. I get a couple packs of free broadheads a year, but I also spend a lot of freaking money with them, so it doesn't really offset. So just so you know, this isn't a paid advertisement. On impact, I've got some. You know what? Timeout. Stand by.
Yeah. For the listener, Scott is going to go get his some show and tell. And while we sit here and la la
Yeah,
la
those
la
red meats
la la,
are
la.
pretty popular.
Let me screw this on here. In case anybody was wondering how sharp these blades are, they're 4 stitches and a trip to the ER sharp.
Wow.
$100 a stitch after insurance. So this is what you're looking at. This is basically like a bullet. Chisel tip, nothing fancy there. It's going to dig in at any angled shot, quartering shot. Obviously, broadside's no problem. But here's what I love about this broadhead. On impact, you got a little blue collar with some notches here. These blades fold back, or excuse me, slide back. I said that wrong. They don't fold back. You are using so much less kinetic energy on this head versus, I'll say it, a Rage or a Whitetail Special from Grim Reaper, or a Swacker. That's a Georgia company, and I sell them. So, not being biased. The blades fold back, absorbing kinetic energy that's produced by your bow that's transferred into the arrow, versus a blade that slides straight back. Now, here's what you got here. You got a 3-blade, 2-inch cutting diameter. That makes a effing big ass hole. And I will go ahead and tell you right now, my tracking dog guy hates me because of these broadheads, because more hunters are finding their deer within 40 yards where they shot them. Now, once again, going back to the fixed head ordeal, because some fixed head people hate me, and I love it. It's adorable. Which I'm actually going to be shooting some fixed heads this year, so it's not, once again, not being biased. It's just for a whitetail mega meat. If I'm going on a Rocky Mountain elk hunt, something over 400 or 500 pounds, I'm definitely going to be using a fixed head because I'm trying to get penetration. I'm trying to go through a whole lot more skin, hair, and fat on one of those animals versus a whitetail, which is almost unarguably one of the easiest animals to dispatch given a half-ass decent shot. Their organs are big. If you put a big enough hole in them, typically they're going to bleed out. Now, of course, obviously, a pass-through helps with that because, a lot of times the issue is the blood goes to the stomach, you lose track of it. But, their skin is thin, their hair is not coarse. When people start talking fixed heads, and this is not directed towards you whatsoever, Brett, my first argument there is, well, that tells me that you're anticipating hitting a shoulder, hitting a bone, making a bad shot, which it happens. We can't control that. But my argument there is, if you take a shot that you're comfortable with, you should have no problem 12 ringing it. And in order to get to that, practice. And nobody likes doing that, but that's what it comes down to. Oh, and also flies like a field tip, no tuning.
Have you ever had any issues hunting with those? Like, have you ever had anything like where the blades don't adjust to the proper position that they're supposed to? Anything like that?
Yep. So you're asking if I've ever had any issues with them deploying. The answer is no, and neither have any of my customers versus other broadheads in the past that are no longer in my shop. I named one of them. And that's going back to this design. So you've got basically flat surfaces on each blade. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but on impact, the blade can't not open. It has to come back. Of course, obviously, at the same time, not one at a time. I just have a lot of respect for these things since I come in.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And I tell you what I did, boys. At my shop, I have a shelf about yay high, and my bows are hung up a little higher. And I had one of these just sitting on this shelf, out of the package, blade up. I went to hang a bow up. I was actually on a TikTok live. I was showing it to somebody. I went to hang a bow up, and I just drug my hand down. Y'all ever seen your pinky tendon moving?
Oh, fuck that shit, man. Damn.
So I've seen the inside of a lot of animals, a lot of carcasses, a lot of organs. That was the first time I'd ever got woozy seeing blood, let alone my pinky tendon. I got very lucky. I'm lucky this thing still works, if we're being honest.
Yeah. No,
They
I've
look pretty
tried.
legit.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan.
I was just saying they look pretty legit.
I've heard great things about them. Don't get me wrong. Like on, I know Bone Collector, they're huge on those fucking broadheads. I know that. Granted,
Yeah,
I
the
didn't get paid,
Waddell.
but yeah,
They're
yeah.
Georgia
I'm not
boys
saying anything
too.
bad about Bone Collector, but they are who they are. And, you know, I mean, I'm happy with getting a free pack of broadheads every now and then. You talk about paying me to shoot that head? Shit.
All right.
Absolutely. That's like paying me to drive to work every day in a company vehicle. Shit, I'll drive back and forth twice.
Oh yeah.
No, I started off with some Crimson Raptor broadheads. I don't even know if those are still around these days because those are back in like 2003 era when I had them. Then I tried Magnus broadheads after that, and then it was like I was trying different broadheads here and there, and I just came back to Magnus, and to me it's penetration. That's ultimately the most it comes down to me, and
100%.
I don't aim for the shoulder. My dad always taught me, and I tell everyone else, like you said, in a deer, their vital organs are just so fucking huge. It's basically pretty much their whole body base in a way. He's like, just aim for this spot right there. You'll hit a lung. You'll hit another one. If you with these, you get right through in penetration. Bam. That's all I give a fuck about at the end. I don't aim for the shoulder. In my opinion, people who aim at the shoulder, trying to go straight for that heart, I don't give two shits what people think about. I think you're fucking an idiot if you're going to try and aim for the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Just aim for the giant lung and a
Seems
liver.
risky. Seems risky to me.
Just aim for the fucking lung and liver. There's two giant vital organs in it, and you're going to kill it within 80 yards.
Well, my ordeal there is you're messing up a perfectly good stew meat if you shoot that shoulder. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, man. I don't know.
I just got done telling you how much deer meat I eat, and I use it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I buy deer meat from my processor if at the end of the year, if people don't pick it up. I bought 3 more deer from them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What about the Hoyt Alpha X? Have you shot that one yet?
I have not got a chance to get my hands on it, but let me tell you a little secret. It's the same bow as last year.
Oh.
And the year before.
Why did you say that?
What was the one last year?
So you had the Venom Pro, the VTM.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you had the VTM last year, and then before that you had the Venom. Now, when I say it's the same bow, yes, before all the Hoyt guys, because they're not as bad as Matthews guys, but they you know they like to jog behind Cameron Haynes. They did obviously change the specs, but overall re-engineered, nah, not even close. Their carbon bow, all they did was go up another $100. That's it. I mean, don't get me wrong, they look good. But I mean, here's that's not exactly right. I was about to go off on a limb, but nah, that's not exactly right. Anyways, moving on.
I have 2 quick questions.
Mhm.
One is, I've never shot a Hoyt only because I never liked that weird frame part behind the handle. I just thought it was weird. I thought it just get in the way, so I just like fuck it. I never liked it. So is that what do you think? What do you say to people that don't want to maybe shoot the bow because of that itself?
Yep. So just obviously this is an APA, but you're talking about this bridge, which on APA it actually serves a purpose. It's on the front. It's a carrying handle versus on the back of a Hoyt. Hang this bag up. 2,000 miles more than that now. $2,000 bow. I don't want to drop. The whole purpose behind that is the same as any other machine riser design, is to stiffen the riser. That's ultimately the purpose, and it's kind of a signature look for Hoyt. I mean, that's what they're known for.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean that's really it. It's just to stiffen up the riser and look kind of cool. I'm assuming. Which for years it was very annoying on that bow because on that bridge, if you had a cable driven rest, your activation cable from your QAD or whatever kind of cable driven rest you had would have to go around that bridge and attach to the cable, and it would always rub. I don't think people really had a problem with them rubbing off or anything, but it was just really annoying. I mean, it really wasn't pretty. Well, this year that was one of the things they quote unquote redesigned is they actually put a hole or a little slit, so to speak, through that bridge to where your cable rest can go through there and not touch the bridge anymore. Which,
Oh wow.
Charge another $100 for that.
Yeah, just to draw a little fucking hole through there. So yeah, let's charge it extra because of that.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, they've had the same cam for 4 years ish. I'm gonna say 4-ish on the low end. The carbon bow stuff is just I don't get it. I'll be honest with you, and this is something that I'm glad Bowtech did jump on, but unfortunately they just don't have the marketing dollars to compete with Hoyt. But their carbon bow is unarguably the best carbon bow on the market, period. And I'll tell you why. It's the same price, if not $100 cheaper than a Hoyt, but you get so much more bang for your buck. So on the Hoyt, you have a rotating mod, and that's it. On a Bowtech, you have a rotating mod. You now have time lock, which allows you to adjust the timing on your bow with no bow press. You do it with an Allen key. You also have deadlock, which is what Bowtech is world renowned for. It's where if you can operate an Allen key, you can shim your bow left to right. You turn an Allen key and it just right there on the track, no bow press. You lock it in place, do the same thing to the bottom cam, shoot through paper to get your tear out. And they also have grip lock now. Their clutch grip now comes with what I call a lift kit. You can actually flare out the bottom part to give yourself more or less palm pressure with the turn of an Allen key.
Wow. Is
And
that
it's the only carbon bow that's made in the States, right?
Who is?
Bowtech, right?
No, PSC actually is.
Oh, okay.
that's where I went to school for my stuff.
Yep. I don't know where Bowtech gets their carbon. It's not made in the USA. I'm pretty sure Hoyt's is. I know it's overseas. I don't want to say a country. I've got one in mind, but I'm not sure if that's right, so I don't want to say it.
I wanted to ask you this. The other question was your thoughts on the arrow knuckling. So like arrow clocking, how an arrow spins left or right, depending on like how the arrow spun or depending on the strings.
Mhm.
Are you a big believer in that and trying to make sure you don't fletch your veins in the correct way as your arrow so you don't knuckle a ball in the air?
Yeah, 100%. So 99.99% of your bows on the market, or excuse me, of your strings on the market are going to have a left twist and a left wrap of serving where your knocking point goes. There's very few out there that have a right twist, which ultimately determines if your arrow is going to clock left or clock right. So with that being said, we put a natural. They said this is a 6 fletch, but you can really see the helical on this. We put a 2 to 4 degree, depending on the fletching and what the customer requests, left helical on almost all of our arrow builds. Every now and then, I'll get a guy that wants a 2 degree right, which I think it's ABB, America's Best Bowstrings. I think they do a right twist. I could be wrong, but they're one of the few. Gas, threads, your match strings, quote unquote, rebranded zebra strings, Winner's Choice, pretty much every string manufacturer out there does a left twist, which naturally makes the arrow want to fly left off the shaft. Why? And I've got onto all my refs about this, my arrow refs. Why every arrow manufacturer that sells 6-pack pre-fletched arrows does a 2 degree right? I don't have a clue.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
Well, so is also every arrow manufacturer selling their 6-pack or selling their arrows pre-fletched in a 6-pack when majority of your arrow quivers only hold 5 arrows.
Oh, I mean, wow. I feel brain fucked right now with that.
It's just marketing, and it's just ways for them to make a couple
It's
extra
just
bucks.
it's just like McDonald's. Let's put another Big Mac out there. They'll buy it.
Yep. So for anybody who
Brett's about to fall out of his chair over there.
What the fuck, man? What are we doing here? I don't even have a comment to that. I don't know what to say here.
So
It's
Scott,
like, we never letting this guy come back. Do what, Dan?
I was just saying, Scott, for anybody who was interested in doing what you do for a living, could you kind of walk through like your schooling and your certifications, like what type of education you had to achieve to be able to do what you do for a living?
Yeah, so let's start off with I'm a college dropout.
Hell yes.
Let's start there. So I actually literally, it's funny you asked me this. I think day before yesterday, if not yesterday, I uploaded a video on how to get started in the retail side of the outdoor industry. As far as education, none required. You'll find that some of your best bow technicians have no college degree, or if they do have a college degree, they're not using it. But there's 3 main ways to get started. Number 1 is the easiest way. Have a lot of freaking money laying around that you don't need.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. I mean, I don't know why everybody doesn't do it. The second way, and I've seen this several times with other people that have their own shop or work at a shop, I should say. Investors, 2 to 3 investors to flip the bill. The only con to that is it's never going to be yours, but I mean, it's at least a starting point. But the another con to that is if you don't make the money for them, they're going to find somebody else because they're going to be majority shareholder, obviously. And then the third way, which if you don't mind working for at least 7 days a week for 7 years in a row, like I did starting off, this is my first. Last year was my first year I had back-to-back weekends off ever, and since the startup of this store, a lot of people don't know that, but a lot of people could never figure out why I was always at the store either.
Wow.
We started very small, and by very small, I mean we started with a trailer doing trade shows. A show that y'all are familiar with is kind of going your direction. Great American Outdoor Show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, biggest outdoor expo in the world that's open to the public. We would do expos like that. Not all of them were 9 days. Most of them were weekends. But that's what me and my old man did 6-7 months out of the year, because that's about how show season was, is travel around to all these big expos and try to make a buck. But the attendance was going down. The economy wasn't good back then, or wasn't great, I should say. The booth spaces kept going higher and higher, and we couldn't figure out why. So we said, screw it. Let's rent a space and see where it goes. Outgrew that space in 2 years. And by the 4th year, we outgrew our new space. And we're just actually waiting for the economy to get a little bit better financially to potentially open up a second location or another location.
Nice.
Wow.
But right now we ain't going nowhere. But yeah, so start off small. I mean, guys, I started off making homemade duck calls. A lot of people don't know it. Waterfowl was actually my first love. I hated ducks. I wanted to kill every single one of them. Couldn't stand them. Wanted to shoot them all in the face. And that's actually how I got started in the industry. It wasn't behind the bow counter. It was on a lathe turning duck calls, sucking in sawdust and acrylic dust.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool how you kind of like started off basically, I don't want to say from nothing, but you started off small and you just said, fuck it, and grinded every fucking day. And you built up this whole thing. And now it's like a whole, did your mom and dad, I mean, your mom and your sister, did they start along with you, or is it just first you and your dad, and then they kind of came along later down the road?
So Big Mama Evans and my pop are and myself are the OGs. My sister, she took the easy way out. She got pregnant a couple years ago, and started working from home. And my mom did need help on the financial side of things, so we brought her on board, which was kind of a no-brainer. We all get along, so it's not a big deal. Of course, we don't always see each other every day either, so might be why we get along. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. We do have some employees. Most of them, or all of them, are part-timers. They all have big boy and big girl jobs. I have one girl who's actually my bartender at Longhorns in my town. She is actually the one that helps me build arrows. A lot of people don't realize. They think I build all the arrows. No way. No, contrary to popular belief. I build a lot of them, but Courtney does a phenomenal job. She started into bow hunting, and she's very tedious and meticulous. And if it's wrong, she ain't sending it out the door.
Oh,
and then
wow.
with you being able to have a job that involves something that you love doing, have you found yourself ever in a position where it's kind of making it to where you're not enjoying the outdoors as much as you used to because maybe you aren't getting a break from it, if that
Not
makes sense?
Not one time. The only
Okay.
time I hate what I do is on Black Friday.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's just because of the
about it.
retail. That's the retail side. It's not the
Now,
hunting itself.
I will tell people, until you get to a certain point, which I'm finally starting to get there. I'm not quite there, but I'm getting closer. Until you get to a certain spot with your retail store, you can forget hunting. I mean, I tell people all the time, you want to quit hunting and fishing, open a hunting store. You'll never have time, or you'll have time and it won't succeed. Period. But once again, we do not have did not have the financial backing going into this to where we could have 10 or 12 full-time employees and go take a cruise off the coast and catch some sailfish. Nah, that wasn't me. So the first month we were open, we used to be open 9 to 10. No, yeah, 9 to 10 or 9 to 9, at least 12 hours a day. I was there open to close the first 30 days in a row without fail.
That's insane.
That's love for the sport, homie.
Yeah.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I agree with you 100%. I'm just like, damn, that's putting in the fucking work.
Yeah, that's a passion for
Yeah.
sure.
You talked about arrow builds right there, and because that arrow right there was 6 fletchings. Are you hunting with 6 fletches, or are you doing a typical 3 to 4 now?
I almost don't even want to talk about that 6 fletch because I don't want people to think I'm gonna do it for them, because I really don't offer that as a service. I mean, I'll do it, but it's gonna be double the service charge. The whole point of that is actually a specific arrow build I'm gonna use in Oklahoma. Are y'all familiar with Brian Quokka, Pigman?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going hunting with him next month in his home city of Oklahoma, and he's sent me some turkey necker broadheads. You ever seen them big ass broadheads for cutting turkey's head off?
Yep, Magnus produces some pretty cool ones.
Yep, it's very similar. I don't know if it's very similar, but same concept as the Magnus, a big 4-blade, 160 grain. Well, in order to steer that big bulky broadhead, 6 fletchings or a flu, which I don't do flus, is basically required in order to steer that broadhead, along with a stiffer spine. So instead of 300, I'm shooting a 250, and a full length arrow shaft. So when I full draw, that broadhead is nowhere near my hand. So that is specifically only for cutting turkey's heads off. But 3 fletch and 4 fletch, we do that all day long. Definitely do a whole lot more 3 fletch. When people request a 4 fletch, we obviously do that as well.
I'm more of a 4 fletch type of guy myself, and you said flu.
Mm-hmm.
Did I hear that correctly?
Flu, FLU-FLU.
When
What
the
are
fuck
those?
did that term come around? I've never even heard of it.
Oh, flu-flu's been around for a long time. So you familiar with Tim Wells?
Yeah.
Okay, have you ever seen the videos of him shooting a dove out of the air with his bow and arrow?
Yeah.
You remember seeing those really big feathery fletchings on the end of his arrow?
Yeah.
Oh,
Those are flu-flus.
What the fuck? I grew up on toast. I never knew they're called flu. Are you serious?
Brett, we're gonna have to talk more, man. Gotta get you up to speed, homie.
Do I not know the first fucking thing about
I need to
bows and
get
arrows?
it too.
I feel like
Yep.
I'm going back to fucking school about this shit.
Yep. So flus are designed for extreme steering capability and also lack of velocity at X amount of yardage, which is why Tim uses them to shoot dove, because he gets good velocity out of his bow at 20, 30 yards, however far the dove is he's shooting at, and then they actually slow up and fall to the ground. They won't go 150 yards like your stereotypical arrow when you're aiming 90 degrees up. But they have great steering capability, so a lot of guys use it for turkey hunting. I don't. I'd rather do a 6 fletch. For one, it looks cooler, and two, I don't have flus, and I don't want them.
For the person, because to me, fucking vanes are still somewhat confusing in a way. For someone that wants to shoot no more than 30 yards, let's say 40, and then what would you say? Okay, let me take this back. For the person that wants to shoot no longer than 40, and then for the person that wants to shoot no longer than, let's say, 70, because right now my range is 65. What type of degree offset fletching pattern are you doing on both those type of setups?
Well, it's going to be based off of their specs. So draw length and poundage obviously plays a huge factor in your distance.
Let's use mine of 70 pounds and 29 draw length.
Okay, so you're 6 foot tall.
5'11", and
you're 6 foot.
I just wanted to make it.
We'll give it to you. Because at 5'11", you'd be closer to 28 3/4. But if you're at those specs, I would just stick, and also depends on how heavy your arrow is. More mass, slower, less distance. For you, Brett, probably just stick with a 3 fletch. It's going to keep it simpler. And you're also running a 2 blade, not a 4 blade. If you really want to dive into some old school arrow builds, Dash. I see Dan and Asher. I'll keep on wanting to call you Dasher.
No, that's normal.
That's a cool nickname.
No, that's kind of, yeah. People would call me that at work before.
Sorry.
No, like a lot of my work logins are like Dasher too. Yeah, so it's normal, man.
But like for you, Dan, since you're running a 4 blade, has anybody ever talked to you about lining up the fletchings with the blades? That's an old school trick.
No.
Mm-hmm. So think about it. If your blades are lined up with your fletchings, do you think that's going to help break the wind and steer the arrow better versus them being offset?
Yeah, I feel like if they were in line, it would make it fly better.
So let me ask you this. Do propellers on a plane start and stop at the same time or spin at the same time?
Yes. Right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
It wasn't a trick question. I was giving you don't be scared.
It's like he's setting us up. I don't like that.
No, I'm just to tell you the truth, I haven't experimented with my setup much.
He's like, I'm still fucked up about the 5 quiver thing. 5 arrow quiver thing.
Yeah, like pretty much everything that I have is my first setup that I've had in hunting.
Yeah.
So I haven't really experimented and changed up much yet.
Now, guys, I'll tell y'all both the same thing. Archery is as simple or as complicated as you make it. So many times I see people just overthinking stuff, keep switching stuff, figure out what works, and stick with it. If you want to tinker and try different stuff out, I highly encourage it. You might find something better, like those broadheads. You'll see. But
the broadheads are one that I've been thinking about. Maybe
broadheads.
I don't know. If I do,
yeah, I hear the tracking dog coming now.
Yeah,
Magnus broadheads.
So it's really funny you mentioned that. So my buddy, who's a big Magnus guy, he's a great friend of mine. We both fished together. We made a bet 2 years ago. The bet was we would take the shortest. Okay, if we shot multiple deer, we would take the shortest distance tracked to the closest deer, and count it off by paces and compare them at the end of the year. Well, I cheated.
You cheated?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Sorry. I mean, mine flies like a field tip, so I aimed straight for that spine and dropped her at 12 yards. He
you
had one
aimed,
go 100. He had one go 150. So
but
I
you
sent him
aimed
a
strategically. But you aimed strategically to help you with the bet.
exactly. Daddy said
Yeah.
play. He didn't say play fair. So I actually there's actually a video of me holding my phone and my lock on, and I said, his name is Travis. Travis, if you're listening, I won still. I said, hey Travis, I'm putting in my my entry, and you can see this white belly right over my left hand shoulder. I said, I don't think she went far enough because he had one go 150, which I don't know that he made a great shot.
And you had your dead meat for that?
Mega Me, yeah.
Oh, mega meat.
Yep.
That's what they're
So
called.
they actually had the dead meat was before the mega meat. It's the exact same broadhead. You can actually take the dead meat B2 blades and put them in the mega meat.
Okay.
It's the same ferrule, same chisel tip. It's just a smaller cutting diameter. It's 1.25 inch, maybe 1.5 inches, somewhere. It's not 2 inches. I know that.
Going back to fletchings, I use a 4-fletched 2-degree offset on mine, and generally it's left because that's when I clocked them and they all fucking went left.
Yeah, because you got a Matthews.
Yes.
Matthews. No, I'm saying Matthews strings twist to the left. I said that earlier, didn't I?
No, you did. I felt like I was being said, like, oh, yep.
Oh no, he drinks that Matthews Kool-Aid hard.
It's good. It's all good.
Yeah, no, I actually grew
Levi
up.
Morgan's the man.
He's a huge Levi Morgan fan.
Oh Lord! I bet if I go to his closet, there's Bow Life T-shirts everywhere.
I was wondering one day I'll come out of the closet.
Do you have one?
So,
But no, I actually grew up on bear bows.
yeah.
Those fucking bows were like well, actually, let me take that back. My first bow was a Martin Jaguar. Then I went up to the Bear BR33, and then I got up to the Matthews Verdicts.
Mm-hmm. So one thing about the fletching ordeal, I was going to ask you on your 4-fletch, is it a 90 degrees or a 75 by 105?
That's 90 all the way around.
90 all the way around.
Yeah, I figured that was probably like the more simplest way to go. I didn't want to be.
It is 100. No, so did you fletch them yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one of those the last chance archery fletching deals.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's definitely the easiest way to do it. If you ever do 75 by 105, it's a whole different demon. And the only time do you know the difference? What one does?
No, I was about to ask. I read about there's the 90-90 and you can do the 70 whatever. And I always wonder what the fuck the difference was.
So the 90 degree obviously spaces each fletching out 90 degrees apart, all 4 of them, right?
Right.
So the 75 does a 75, then a 105, and yada, yada, yada. So what that does, I call it the X-Wing. Y'all are my age. You remember Star Wars? So that's exactly what it does. So you've got a larger gap up top and on the bottom. These on the side have a much closer gap. The only main advantage of this is actually my Total Archery Challenge arrow, is I get more fletching clearance from my scope, so I can move it down further so that I can shoot further.
Okay.
Huh.
So that would be an ideal setup for a target arrow, but not necessarily for a hunting arrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, not necessarily. But there's not performance-wise, in my opinion, there's not a big enough strategic advantage of this fletching or for fletching in general, in my opinion, to even fool with in most hunting scenarios. People ask me that all the time. Is there a huge advantage? Is there a huge advantage? No, there's really not. I can shoot 120 yards with a 3-fletch. I can shoot 130 yards with this particular 4-fletch, and that's why I run it, because it gives me about an extra 8 to 10 yards of clearance. Now, this is when you said for 3D, this is strictly a tack arrow. This is built for speed and long distance shooting. This is not something you would take to an ASA. For one, they disqualify the shit out of you. This is a 360 grain arrow. I've got this arrow cut extremely short in a 90 grain glue end tip. That's all this is for shooting long distance and having fun. Versus your ASA, you got to be under. They changed the rules a lot, but I would. I think it's ASA. You got to be under a certain feet per second, yada, 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 and a whole bunch of other stuff I don't keep up with. Cheers, boys.
Real quick, arrow spine. Can you break that down?
Yeah, absolutely. So the stiffer the spine, the lower the number. So for example, a 300 is going to be stiffer than a 350. A 350 is going to be stiffer than a 400. Excuse me. So on and so forth. The stiffer the spine is, the higher the GPI or grains per inch. So that's going to make the arrow heavier. Which, if you think about it, makes perfectly good sense. Because in order for something to be stiffer, it has to have more mass, more material. And more material creates more weight. More weight creates a higher GPI, grains per inch. And it all comes down to, well, this is a rabbit hole. Theoretically and traditionally, it comes down to your specs. So it sounds like we're the same specs, Brett. 29 inch, 70 pounds. Most arrows are typically going to call for about a 300 spine. But depending on how that particular arrow manufacturer spines their arrow, for example, on Easton, I can shoot a 340 or 300. So then it's going to be up to me. Do I want more weight and kinetic energy on a 300, or do I want a little bit more feet per second out of a 340? And then you got to think about the components. So if I take the Axis 4mm like I shot last year, they come with a 50 grain half out. Great little component. I have 150 grains up front total weight between the half out and my field tip or broadhead. That gives me a lot of FOC. Not a ton, but it gives me a good bit. So by going to a lighter spine, I had more FOC, which made a ideal hunting weight for me. I think it ended up being like 360-ish grains, 350 grains, somewhere in there, which I agree with. Liked it a lot. But when people start loading up the front of their broadhead, or excuse me, front of their arrow with super heavy broadheads and components, that's where it gets tricky. I mean, I've seen guys with a 27-inch draw pulling 55 pounds. Like, I need a 250 spine. I'm like, why? For who? It ain't for you. They're like, yeah, it is. I'm running a 200 grain insert and a 200 grain broadhead. I'm like, bro, the rhinos are not here anymore. Like, what are you going for? And I just want good penetration. I said, you ain't gonna get it if the damn arrow don't make it 25 yards, homie.
Yeah.
I'm like, geez, killing me. But customer's always right.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
My arrow setup is I shoot fuck, now I'm drawing a blank. Son of a bitch. Gold Tip Hunter Pros.
Okay. In a 340 spine? Yep. So you have a 003 straightness arrow, if I'm not mistaken.
What was that?
Wait, you said the Hunter Pros or Hunter XTs?
The Hunter Pros.
I don't know. Hold on a second. Oh, dropped a beer. Dang it. I haven't had that many. Hunter Pro. Is that a 4mm? Or 5mm?
I think it's 5. I've been shooting them for 2 years now.
2 years and you don't know, Brad? Come on, man. Killing me.
Dude, there's so much shit.
We're bow hunters. Supposed to know this shit.
I know. I can't fucking know it.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. All right, Hunter Series. Pro Hunters. Oh, no, it's a standard. It's a 246. Let's see here. Where's their spine chart? Oh, their spine. Oh, there it is. That's actually not bad. You said you're shooting a 340?
I believe so.
So you got an 8.9 GPI, which is not bad. I mean, that's a realistic hunting arrow. Oh yeah, they are. Oh no, that's not diameter. Where's the straightness? That's where they get you. Let's see here. If it's a Pro Series, well, let me see how much you paid for these arrows. 104 for a 6-pack. They should be a 001. Let's see if they tell you. Yep, 001 tolerance. So you got the oh, okay, yeah, no, 001. So basically you've got the best consistency of carbon that you can buy. Has anybody ever taught you or told y'all about the 001, 003, 005, and 006, and so on and so forth?
For straightness?
Mm-hmm.
I've watched YouTube videos, but never had anyone break that down for me.
Yeah. So if you buy let's say a V-Force, is it the Sport? Yeah, the Sport from Victory. It's a 006 straightness arrow. Not a very consistent carbon. Can you shoot and kill stuff with it? Absolutely. But you throw that bad boy on a spinner, one of them ends of that arrow gonna be wobbling. Probably not tremendously, but have you ever heard people talk about cutting off one end of the arrow versus the other?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's what they're talking about. I'm sorry, my dog's slopping up water. If y'all can hear that.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'll wait till he finishes. We're having a podcast. This is not the time for you to get drunk. We feed our labs corn liquor down here.
It's like
he
you're
drinks like a
depriving him of
camel.
water.
When he fills up for the trip. Bless his heart, he ain't got no teeth in the front of his head, so most of it ends up on the towel.
My puppy drools fucking everywhere with water. It's like, great. I just walked in a giant pool.
Yep. I'm about to say, all right, you had enough there, buddy? All right. Gotta go in for a 48-hour coma now. But basically the straightness is one of the things obviously you're paying for. There's usually not a huge dollar amount difference between a 001 and like a 003. But what you're paying for is the most consistent straightness of carbon that you can buy on the market. And it also makes my job easier because if I put that carbon shaft on a spinner, I know if there's any wobble at all, it's going to be towards the end I'm already supposed to cut. I've had people come in with 001 straightness, Dan McCarthy arrows, ASA arrows, or target arrows, I should say. I said, hey, I want you to spin them and cut them off on both ends. I'm like, you don't want to pay me to do that, mister. They're like, why? I said, because you already paid for it. I said, these things are freaking $200 and something for just the shafts. And you're going to sit here and you want me to spin test every single one of these, even though I know good and damn well they're fine? He's like, well, how much are you going to charge? I said, too much. He's like, yeah, just cut them. I'm like, good choice, out of the way. Because that's what you're paying for. You're paying for good quality carbon.
Yep.
But go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask real quick. So if someone's just kind of get into the archery world and they really don't have anybody to kind of, I guess mentor would be the word, what would be like the first thing that you tell them to like start off? So if you get someone going to your shop and they're brand new, they don't know the first thing about archery, they want to get into it. How are you taking care of that guy or girl?
So the first thing I ask them, I say, are there any bows or brands you've done homework on that you've been interested in? If they say no, then I will say, okay, awesome. What's your budget? What are we working with? So I can make a good recommendation based off of what you want to spend, because you never know. You might have a guy that's like, I don't know. I want to go as cheap as possible. Cool. Got $600. We can get you into archery with a bow, decked out, release, arrows, field tips, and possibly even a target for another $50. Oh, excuse me. Then I got the guys that come in and say, I want a Matthews bow. I'm like, cool. Got $2,000. Well, they cost that much? And we're back to the bear species ready to hunt package deal.
Yeah.
And that's what cracks me up, as guys see these things and they see other people using them, and they have no idea how much it costs. Especially if you go with a Matthews lift, their integrated rest, their bridge lock sight, their bridge lock stabilizers, you're at $2,700, ladies and gentlemen, without a release or arrows. You're talking about a bow that's $1,400, $1,449, correct me if I'm wrong, MSRP, $700 in stabilizers, $250 for an arrow rest. And I don't remember what the Bridgelock Excel costs, but it also depends on which Bridgelock site you go with. A lot of people are going with the UltraView Bridgelock. That's $600.
Oh, I can tell you the exact price point because of what they fucking told me. Because I got all that shit on the lift. Granted, and like I told you, I'm going back, and I'm probably going back with the Phase 4.
How close was that?
You're down near point on. I think it was exactly $2,786.42.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's without all the other like the arrows and
No release, no
no
target,
release, no
no
sight, nothing yet. That's just
no
like
case.
bare accessories if you want to put on. And granted, that was like with a 12-inch bar in the front, 10 in the back, and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're dishing out basically. I'm just gonna highball it of $4 fucking grand of money to get everything you want if you're going straight with the fucking Matthews. And
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yep.
what I tell some of my friends when they first got into archery was like, start off with a fucking bear. You don't need to go fucking balls to the wall with Matthews or Hoyt. If it's something you want to learn, bear, in my opinion, starting off, bear is a great fucking product that doesn't hurt your bank. It's amazing draw cycle. It's smooth. It's fucking amazing. And don't get me wrong, I'd go shoot a bear right now. I just been consistent in liking the way I shoot with my Matthews. But I just tell people to go straight to bear.
Yeah, 100%. And to your point, what people, or what I tell people when they first come in the shop. I mean, I had a young man yesterday. You can tell this poor kid. I shouldn't say this poor kid. I was very proud of this kid. He saved up all his money. Been following me on TikTok. He said, "I want you to build me a bow talk." I said, "Just Scotty, but okay, we can do it." And I said, "Have you looked at any bows?" He said, "I was kind of looking at the RTH." I said, "Okay, that stands for Ready to Hunt Package Deal. So, are we looking at the diamonds or are we looking at the bears?" He said, "I think it's the bear." So we went over it, talked to him. He was 15, 16 years old, pretty big kid. Talked to his parents, had him tag and title out the door with a bow, 6 arrows, field tips, and thank you, Justin. A release for $5.99.16 out the door. Now, something else I always like to do is ring everything up. I have an iPad. We have a great point of sale system. We use Shopify. I have an iPad, so I can walk around the store, scan stuff, ring stuff up, say, "Hey, this is what you're looking at out the door. Are you okay with this?" And we can make adjustments. Okay, instead of a $150 QAD, let's throw on a $50 kill shot whisker biscuit, and basically make sure they're comfortable. Because I hate it when somebody gets sticker shock, and I really hate it when their credit card declines. It's really annoying, especially after I just spent an hour and a half, 2 hours setting their bow up, getting them tuned up. It's like, well, we better figure this out, guys.
I guess that was let's say this. That was kind of the political correct question that we could ask, which I hate PC bullshit. Don't get me wrong. How would you handle someone that came into your shop and was like, "I know more than you"? How would you deal with that type of guy that came in and wanted to go buy a new bow and stuff like that?
Well, the first thing I would do is let them know that I'm too busy to prove a point to you in my place of business. I'm here to make a living, not just check out our pecker sizes, for being honest. Now, if he catches me on a day that I'm bored and have nothing to do and nobody else is in the shop and the cameras are turned off, I'll say, prove it. I mean, I don't think that'll ever happen because I don't think that's what this sport is based around. Yeah. But I mean, and I would really hope that somebody wouldn't come in and just try to challenge another pro shop owner's knowledge like that. Because if you really know more than me, I will be able to tell immediately, and I'm going to shut up and I'm going to listen. Promise. There are select few individuals in this world that I would love to just sit in the corner and watch them work. Travis T-Bone, one of them.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. That dude, I could watch his videos all day long.
Yep. I've become really good friends with 2 individuals that legitimately know him personally. Actually, Pigman being one of them, another outdoor superstar like Travis. And what Pigman tells me is pretty much spot on. And he'll tell you straight up, if he don't like you, he'll tell you and he'll tell everybody else. There's no hiding it. If he likes you, he'll tell you and he'll tell everybody else. There's no hiding it. And he 100% confirmed what I assumed, that what you see with T-Bone is what you get. And I told him, I said, man, I mean, because he's in my home state, Travis is. I've never tried to reach out. But I believe he's down there in Moultrie or somewhere in that area. And I would love to just go sit in the corner and listen. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't like learning from YouTube. I mean, there's certain things I have to learn with YouTube, but I want to find somebody that's more knowledgeable, has more experience than me, and let me get hands-on with that person present to tell me what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. But yeah, I mean, very, very rarely does. I mean, there's always people that want to come up and say stuff. If I'm at an archery shoot, they'll be like, "What do you think about this? What do you think about that?" And I'll give them my honest opinion. And if they agree with it, great. If not, next question.
Right.
Can we get on with our lives?
Exactly. I think everyone should get to the point of, I don't even know how I want to phrase it, but you get to a point where it's like, just, what you've learned and just accept more knowledge that you can get in from other people and be wanting to learn more, and don't get to the point where it's like, I know all this shit. I'm fucking Mr. Know-it-all, so I don't need to learn any more fucking No, you can never not know more information. And I guarantee you there's stuff that you think you've learned and then it's like you forgot. And
yeah, 100%. 100%. And I tell you who's another one on my list. This may shock you, this may not. I don't know if I'll be able to sit down because I'll have to be running around to keep up with them, but I want to hang out with Ted Nugent in a bow shop.
that would be fucking sick.
And I'm
Yeah,
not
he's
talking,
big. He's big here in our parts.
and let me tell you why. Not because he's the Motor City Madman, not because he's this legendary singer. He learned from Fred Bear himself.
Yep.
He grew up with Fred Bear, the man, the myth, the freaking legend. I mean, if I could resurrect one person, sorry, Toby Keith, but I'm bringing Fred Bear back. I mean, geez, I mean that was the man, and the only other living person on Earth that has similar knowledge, if not as much, would be Pete Shepley, the founder and former owner of PSE Archery.
I've actually met him, and he was a great dude when I went down to the PSE school. But yeah, it was awesome to hear about the stories of, because he obviously Fred Bear, Ted Nugent here in Michigan with us, and it was awesome to hear the stories from my dad and to read more as I got older of how they basically hunted 2 hours down the road from us and how they grew up together. And Fred basically taught Ted growing up, and it was just an awesome experience to read and yeah, I would love to just be in the same room and just talk about Fred Bear with him as well.
Yeah, I mean, I play the song. We have a playlist. I can't stand working in silence. I have to have music, and not just crap music. I have to have good music playing when I'm working or doing anything. Fred Bear, the song by Ted Nugent, plays in my store every single. I'll be honest with you, that's probably my favorite Ted Nugent song. I mean, I like Ted Nugent, but that one right there, I mean, I can relate to it. I mean, Cat Scratch Fever, it's cool, but it doesn't do much for me.
Stranglehold and Fred Bear are my favorite ones.
Y'all stand by for 1 second.
Hmm?
Hey. I can breathe now. Welcome to Georgia allergy season. It is here, folks. Cheers, boys.
Oh man, I can't stand allergies.
Yeah, they're in full swing.
Don't
here
move
too.
here.
I know my wife told me don't move to Tennessee because we've talked about moving to Tennessee, and she's like, Brett, you can't handle the fucking allergies here in Michigan. You expect to do it in Tennessee? You're never gonna go outside.
Oh yeah. If the pollen don't kill you, the blondes will. It's bad.
Well, fuck, I can't believe it's already 10 o'clock on the show. Dan. Well,
We've been having a party, boys.
Oh yeah. No,
Scott,
it flies
was
by
there
real
any
quick.
Story or a topic that we didn't cover that that you wanted to talk about, share, anything like that?
The only thing I would add to this, man, and I'm, I grew up back row Baptist, so I get tired of listening to people talk, so I'm not going to sit here and talk your ears off all night. The only thing I would say to anybody listening that's new, I know we went over a lot. We gave a lot of information tonight. Take some of it for granted. If you're a new archer, keep it simple. I mean, don't dive into it and go down a never-ending rabbit hole that you'll never come back from, because I promise you'll hate archery. Start off simple. Like Brett said, get you a little Bear Archery Ready to Hunt package deal bow. Get you a $55 pack of 6-pack of arrows and go hunt and have fun. A couple years down the road, when you decide you want to take it to the next level, call me.
Yeah, man.
Well said.
Real quick though, I forgot we covered a lot tonight. How long have you officially been kind of doing this business? I know your social media, TikTok, you've been doing it for a year, but
Yeah.
So how long have you kind of been diving into archery to all of your experience up to now?
This will be about year 9.
So you're 9. Wow, man. So you got basically 10 years of experience in you right now.
Getting there.
Man, that's awesome, man. Dan,
Sky's the limit.
did you have any last questions or concerns about
Yeah, Dasher, hit me.
No, I just wanted to thank you, man, for your time. Really enjoyed learning. I definitely want to learn more about my bow. That's one thing. I don't have the most confidence when I'm in the woods with my bow. Like if I need to have it serviced, I don't do it myself. So any way that I can learn more about my bow, I think is just going to help me be better. So I really enjoyed the talk tonight, and just thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chat with us, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and Brett's got my phone number, man. Dash, damn it! I can't keep calling you that. I promise that one. If you guys ever have any questions or anything, text me, FaceTime me. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's what I do. I mean, I get free consultations through email every day, so it's not a big deal. I mean, I get some great questions, and I get some off the wall questions, and I get some how do you get into this questions. I mean, that's what I do the first 2 or 3 hours while I'm at the shop every morning is answer emails from customers or people like y'all that have questions. And a lot of times it's a simple fix. It's just nobody's told you.
right?
So anytime you need something, just holler. That's what I'm here for.
All righty. Well, thanks, man.
Real quick, so how often I think you said you generally do it two times a week. You do live on TikToks?
Yep. Bows and Brews on TikTok. I typically go live on Mondays and Thursdays. I slacked a little bit this week, and if it's not just me, it's typically a guest. Last week we had Travis Brown, Ronda Rousey's husband, on. He's a big bow hunter, and they're a big farmers as well now. A couple weeks before we had Pigman on. Dave from Bowhunter Planet comes and hangs out with us. We get some pretty cool people on there, and we get some Joe Blows. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. But if you want to know exactly when we're gonna have it, because sometimes it's spur of the moment, just follow me at Bowtalk_77. You'll see me post it to my story anytime we're gonna have Bows and Brews. I'll give everybody at least a 12-hour heads up.
Cool.
It's awesome, man. And like Dan said, well, like Dasher said, thanks again for coming on the show and taking about an hour and a half of your time to come and talk with us and talk with everyone, sharing your experience. And Magnus Broadheads are #1. And we would really appreciate you coming on the show again sometime down the road, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you boys, and y'all holler anytime you need something. You hear?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
sounds good, man.
Sure.
Have a good night.
You too.
See ya. I feel like went back. Like I said, I feel like I went back to school for archery.
Oh, that was a good talk, man. I enjoyed it. It was different. I feel like I got a lot of learning to do. A lot of lingo and stuff I didn't know exactly what you guys were talking about, but I had a good idea.
Yeah, and like he said, there's a couple of times when I started in archery, and then a couple of years down the road, I was kind of going down a rabbit hole. I was like, "Fuck, there's so much you can do, and this and that." So I kind of like had to backtrack and just kind of learn one simple thing at a time. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to learn about vanes this time. And then I move on to just arrows and move on to broadheads and just taking one thing at a time and not just trying to learn all these things at once. Because at that point, you're just kind of just like overwhelming yourself. And like you said, you're not going to have fun and you're just going to get stuck.
Well, heck yeah, man. I had a good time. But
I did too. That was a fun show.
I'm ready to get some shut-eye now and go make a couple bucks tomorrow. And yeah, think of some new questions for the next podcast.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and I think we're ready to close out tonight, my friend.
All right, man. Go ahead and hit it.
All right, Dasher.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.